But moving on, I want to talk about a few other watches from that legendary auction. The first watch we'll pull a picture up is the 3700/01. So this is the original interpretation of the Patek Philippe steel Nautilus, and this watch sold at auction for $92,500. So this particular variation of the watch, as the photo will show, came with a complete box set, original cork box, documentation, warranty, obviously, and extract from the archive. So this, to me, is a fantastic result for this watch. I think that is possibly, in this material, one of the highest results that this watch has ever gotten at auction, if not the highest. And this is a watch that just a few years ago probably would have been a $50,000 to $60,000 watch. And with the increased amount of attention on sport models, particularly Nautilus, this is a watch that I think is going to continue creeping up over time, especially in complete examples like this. And we saw at auction a 5711 Tiffany recent watch go for 50. So there's no reason why a complete example from 1977 shouldn't go for this sort of number. So I think that this was a very strong number. I think that this was a lot for the watch, but I think that it's not unexpected.
You know, it's worth mentioning that the 3700 Nautilus, all Nautilus really, for the longest time had no respect from collectors. The Patek Philippe collector movement started in the 80s with pocket watches. It expanded to include dress watches from what we now call the Calatrava family during the early 90s, expanded to include vintage complications during the late 90s and early 2000s. But it's really only in the last 5 to 6 years that we've seen the collector community, the Patek collector community, embrace the Nautilus. And testament to that is the fact that this coming month at Christie's, we could see that number that Brian just mentioned broken, as there's a 3700 coming up in the Christie's auction, and the estimate is well over $100,000.
Want to split it?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, man, 50-50.
And we'll flip a coin to see who wears it. You can have the bracelet, I'll have the watch.
Deal.
But the bottom line is that we could see these numbers reset very quickly, and that's why I recommend, unless you've got so much money that you can buy and just enjoy regardless of the rise or fall in value, the market is moving so fast on these hot references now that it's best to just step aside, because there is a frenzy mentality. And I think when we look back 5-6 years from now, those will still be great watches to own, but we'll all wonder how on earth the value escalated so fast and why we didn't step off the conveyor belt when it got too fast.
And I think that $100,000 for this watch, you know, while probably a little bit excessive, relative to what steel Newmans are doing, it's actually, for most people, probably like a bargain. Like in a weird way, it's like, okay, I can go buy that watch that retailed for, you know, $2,000 however many years ago, and it's selling for $500,000, and it's actually far more common. Like, these Rolex Daytonas are far more common than the amount of 3700s that were produced at the time, and it's just it's amazing to me. It's actually all the promoting's going on. I feel like it's just got to explode at some point.
I just say avoid the auction mentality, though. Like, a lot of times online auctions, we're so used to eBay and no one really bids against anyone. It's all buy it now commerce. When you get into an auction house bidding war, you do find yourself in a condition where you may outbid yourself and wind up spending more money than you're comfortable spending.
Correct.
Regardless of what the watch is ultimately worth, don't get yourself bent out of shape by a talented auctioneer and people who have more, maybe not more money than sense, but more impulse than money. Be careful, because you can overspend even on good references.